Decision Plus has been and still is a leading stock market service provider. From training to coaching, we cover it all. Try both our software as well as our coaching site, completely free for 10 days without obligation. No credit card is needed to sign up for the trial. The trial subscription will be automatically canceled for you at the end. DecisionPlus.com, your stock market service center. Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try MarketGurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above. Market Vision Plus is the trading companion of so many investors. Make your fundamental and technical analysis easy with Canada's #1 stock market decision-making software. Research, decide, and follow your positions with Market Vision Plus. See the menus just above this program and try Market Vision Plus for 10 days without any obligation after the show. When it comes to day trading, Trader Plus is the right tool. Track 50 quotes simultaneously. Create dozens of quick lists. Display as many as 30 real-time intraday charts at the same time. Watch the action with candlesticks or bar charts as fast as 10 seconds. See the market by sectors. Use the chart models already prepared for you. Try Trader Plus for 10 days in the menu above without any obligation.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Swing Trading Show. Today we're Tuesday, September 22nd, 2015. Today folks, we have markets that are going down but today are stabilizing. Don't forget that today it's a special show with the question bar is open folks. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. But it's special today because we will host the CEO of Nemaska Lithium, NMX. It's a stock that is doing fairly well. They got the approval from the federal and provincial government for their project, which is called Wabushi Project. It's a project that estimated at $900 million. In terms of cost, what they need is about $500 million to start the project. So it's lithium. They will focus on doing hydroxide carbonate lithium, which is a higher margin product, and this will actually allow them to generate more money. They expect to be cash flow positive eventually in the coming years to come. But the fact that they got those certifications from the provincial and from the federal government is actually something really good for this company. But so far, this company is standing fairly well and is having a slight correction and continues to maintain its upward trend. Now, if we take a look at the situation on the indices, we have the indices that are going down. I want to bring to your attention the situation on the NASDAQ here where the biotechs take a big hit. And this is why BIS, this is the bearish ETF on biotech stocks, has performed really well. Because Hillary Clinton, what she said is that the prices, the drug prices of biotech companies is extravagant. So she wants to lay out a plan that will help fight this price increase because, of course, it's a political. She's shooting some political jabs, I would say, to try to win some votes. It's a political campaign. But this has created enough fears in the market, and this is where we had a slight surge among biotech stocks today. And this is why BIS has performed slightly well, but you see it was kind of tough to quickly take some profit. And this has been the situation in most cases, though. If we take a look at the situation on the indices, let's put a little bit more data on those indices. You see, at opening, all indices stabilized, and finally we had a low. So that low was the clear entry point among the bearish ETF. This is why, since opening on MarketGurus.tv, we have published a list with all those bearish ETF. All the ones you see that are with an S are all a nice performing bearish ETF. However, even if the fact that the markets, the indices have given us new, well, I mean the new low, I would say compared to the morning's bottom, this entry point among those bearish ETF was not enough to allow us to actually take some profit on those bearish ETF. So if you bought them, if you have opened some positions among those bearish ETF today, I don't think you should rush to close them. I think, for instance, an ETF like HXD has performed really well, could easily reach 540. And I'm more willing to buy a bearish ETF on the TSX than in the American markets, because on the TSX, the situation is the weakness among the gold sector, the mining sector, and also the energy sector, which is still neutral though. And the financial sector, I think, will weigh in heavily on the TSX and will bring the TSX even further down than its American peers. So if we take a look at the situation on the TSX, though, we could easily reach 13,300. So there's about 100 points to be lost. But I don't know if today we're going to be able to lose that 100, 200 points that are going to put us in a situation where you could actually easily take some profits among the bearish ETF that you've opened today. Now, in the energy sector, we have a sector that stays totally neutral, just like oil. If you take a look at this sector here, so far, no stocks are at risk. There are two stocks where there's some news today. There's AltaGas. This company is today's testing its support because they're acquiring some assets in California for $442 million. So there's some money getting out of their coffers. In Canada today, they announced that they have some explosion on one of their pipeline in Alberta, in northern Alberta. So the stock is going down today slightly. And Suncor, they announced that they will increase their stake in one of their projects where they have a partnership with Total. They will pay $310 million for that stake, with a 10% stake. And this is why Suncor is slightly going down today. Concerning the other news, though, there's another news on Silver Wheaton. And what Silver Wheaton will do is that they say that they are in a mood to actually make transactions worth of $5 billion totally, because they see a lot of interesting opportunities in the mining sector. So as I said, folks, the question bar is open. Don't hesitate to ask any questions. Later on, we're going to have Mr. Guy Bourassa, CEO of Nemaska Lithium, who will be with us. So don't hesitate to ask us any questions. Now, let's take a look at some news here that we had. We had some news on Darden Restaurants that released their earnings. They did really good. Same thing for General Mills. Same thing too for AutoZone. Conagra Foods, they did well, but the stock took a big hit today. The stock is in a clear breakdown. How far this breakdown could go? Well, I think we're due for a pause now, because look, we're reaching this upward trend of March. Oh no, forget it. Nah. So I don't know if this will be the pause around $38, or are we going to pause at this 200-day moving average, or could we go lower? I think definitely there's a lot of probability that we could even go lower on a stock like Conagra Foods. I think 37.50 becomes the likely target, $38. CarMax today, they also released their earnings. They did well, and Tor Industries as well. They were in line with estimates, but the stock has continued to take a hit and is maintaining its decline. So really not so positive for companies today, even if they released their earnings that were really good. Now, concerning Vigol here, Vigol, they released their earnings. They say that the EBITDA, earnings before interest and depreciation, has actually increased by 31%, and this is actually the lowest loss that they will made since their beginning. So the stock slightly surged at opening, and you see this surge totally deflated. So this is why it's important to not rush in on the first 2-3 minutes of trading hours to rush in to buy a stock, because you need to see a trend being confirmed on a stock before actually having that stock consider that stock as a potential buy. Now we have Mosaic here, that they say that they will they're bearish on production potash for the next few years, and they also say that they're going to reduce their production in their mine, which is called Colonsay. And also Ashland, what they said is that they will separate their companies in two. Those two companies will be traded on the stock exchange. One will be specialized in chemical products, and the other one in lubes, I would say. I don't know if it's lubes. Anyways, yeah, lubes, I would say. High performance lubes or oil, if that could be something I could say. So I want to show you here a list of some stocks on the resources, because the resources are also the ones that took a big hit today. And on the resources, the reason why we have this decline is because on the resources, there's a lot of fears about Chinese growth. Today, the Asian Development Bank lowered its growth forecast for China. So we have several stocks that are going down. Of course, potash stocks are also taking a hit, especially after the news on Mosaic. Well, they say that they're bearish on production of potash market in the next few years. They will stop their production. So this is something that's kind of bearish here, and this is why Mosaic is going down. But most stocks, though, if we take a look at the situation under TSX, under US, most stocks are pursuing their decline. So we don't have a lot of new bearish signals. So stock like Potash Corp, where was the bearish signal? The bearish signal was on September 11, when the stock clearly broke down out of this neutral range. And the stock right now, it's in a clear situation where you should actually take some profit. So we're going to take a slight break, and after we're going to get back with this situation here.
Find answers to your questions by emailing your host at btm@decisionplus.com.
5 good reasons to manage your investments with National Bank Direct Brokerage. Commission fees fixed at $9.95 anytime for all clients and starting at only $6.95 for active investors. No administrative fees if you hold at least $20,000 in your accounts. Registered accounts available in U.S. currency. Powerful tools to help you manage your portfolio. Award-winning customer service and satisfaction levels amongst the highest in the industry. To learn more, visit nbdb.ca or call us now.
Real-time coaching has been created. We search and classify critical reports and technical movements. You can visualize or hear the best buying and selling opportunities. Get real-time advice all day long and 3 live coaching shows per day. Let us do the work and save your time for trading. Try marketgurus.tv free without obligation for 10 days in the menus above.
So welcome back, folks. So if we continue with the situation here, stocks like Tech Resources also are taking a hit. First Quantum, stocks like in the steel sector, we have Valley that could break down if it goes below 468, but it's a stock that's right now below $5, so it's kind of less interesting to short, especially when a stock is below $5. Because in terms of margin requirements, Tenaris, it's kind of tough. I still see a lot of support there at 24.38, so I'd like to see the stock at least breaking that. Now, BHP Billiton, it's mostly a continuity of the bearish cycle because the stock has been going down for the last several days. ArcelorMittal as well, same situation. And Rio Tinto as well, it's the same situation. Same thing too for United States Steel, which pursues its decline. Now, if we take a look at the situation here, I want to show you here the list of the best breakdowns that we have found on marketgurus.tv that you can have access for free for 10 days. Now, if you take a look at this situation here, there's Make My Trip. That is one of the best breakdown. Could easily go towards 12.49. Leggett & Platt, clear breakdown on that stock as well. What you should take into account is to see, do you have some room to go before the stock reaches the oversold situation? We see that we're close to it on the stochastics. It's not so clear on the histogram. The stock is making a low, but the histogram is slightly getting higher, so I'm not so bullish. No, I don't like that one here on that stock, so let's forget this one here. There's Coach, that's not so bad for Coach, right? 10 days below the 30-day moving average, clear breakdown. We stabilize for a while. The longer we stay within the side of information, the better is the technical signal that comes out of it. A negative top on the stochastic, right, which is something that's positive. The thing is that the stock is making a new low, so it's tough to say where is it going to stop. We're going to stop at 27 or even below. So this is the target I cannot set so far by looking at the chart on that stock. But it's also a nice breakdown. Make sure you get out at $30 maximum, or if you're more risk averse, I would say on the reversal of this downward trend towards 29.60 if you're more risk averse. Wow, Cinemark Holding, pretty nice breakdown on that stock. Look, the thing I love with that stock is that it did stabilize around this important support, and it did stabilize for a while, at least 1 month. and now we're clearly breaking down. The stock is only losing 4.31%. We're not yet close to the oversold situation, which means that we have some room to go on the downside on a stock like that. Baxter also, clear breakdown on that stock after testing a support several times. But the thing is that we had several attempts on that stock to break that support, and after a while we get back up. So this is something that will make me a little bit worried on a stock like Baxter International. I'd like to, even if the stock is going down tomorrow, I'd rather get in tomorrow to see a confirmation that the downward momentum is being installed instead of getting in right now on a stock like that. Carlyle Group, really have nothing to say. One of the best breakdowns ever on that stock. Pretty nice there. It's making a new low, right? The thing is that this is the thing that makes me a little bit worried with that stock, is how far would it go, right? Because we see that most of the times where we have tested the low of this downward corridor, that has triggered a rebound. So how far could this go? That's the question I have. And the thing I don't like too is that we're making a new low, but the histogram, even if it's heading towards negative territory, it's not there yet. So this is something I kind of don't like with a stock like Carlyle Group. FireEye, pretty nice breakdown as well on that stock. The stock could easily head towards $30. So FireEye is one of my favorite, I would say. Cinemark, of course. And Spirit, let's take a look at this stock here. Spirit is not so bad. Yeah, not so bad. 10 below the 30-day. It's breaking down its 200-day moving average. Usually the risk on a stock that is breaking down and also breaking down its 200-day moving average is that usually there's a risk that the stock will go down and finally go back up to retest either its 200-day moving average or its 10-day moving average, and then they'll go back down. So if you're shorting a stock like that, that usually shows this type of technical pattern, what I would suggest you to do is to rather be a little bit more patient. Put your exit point, let's say, if ever you see the stock going really above its 10-day or 30-day moving average. Or I would say that you could say, you know what, I'm not going to favor a stock like that. I'd rather favor a stock that at least has a clear trend where it's well below its 200-day moving average, and it has been well below its 200-day moving average for a while. So that could be something that could be more interesting, because that is the risk that we have found throughout our analysis on the stocks that are breaking down below their 200-day moving average after getting out of a sideways formation. Now, as for the day trade of the day, folks, it's that stock here. It's TVIX, because with the volatility of the markets, now the ETF has not given us a lot of great opportunities, though. One opportunity to get in here, could have, not so sure you would have taken some profits there. It would have been tough. Now the next entry point becomes at 1140. But one reason we continue to recommend TVIX is that if ever the indices continue to go down tomorrow or the days to come, we definitely could think that this stock could continue to do pretty well. I'm just going to take one last question before the show finish about FTR. So FTR, about Lilian. So FTR, Frontier Communication. What do you think of that stock? Well, it's a stock that's clearly pursuing its decline, right? Now, when will that stock be a buy? I see the stock could pause towards 425. I would not get into that stock right now. We're close to the oversold situation, but as long as we cannot pause towards 425 or at least 450 on a stock like that, and at least if I cannot see the stochastics, 93 stochastics being towards 30%, I will not consider that stock as a buy. But I think the fact that it's pursuing its decline, it's interesting to potentially get it at a bargain, but it's really bearish right now because the 10-day, which is in red, is below the 30-day moving average, which is in yellow. So that's something that's becoming really, really negative. And so far, there's more sellers in that stock than buyers. So I'd like to see the stock at least stabilize at 450 with a stochastics, Lilian, that starts to be towards the 30% range. And so far, it's not what we have on a stock like Frontier Communication. So I'd put it on my watch list, but it's not a buy today. So folks, stay there. The question bar will be open. If ever you have any questions for Mr. Bourassa, don't hesitate. He's a guy who's willing to take all your questions. And so I'll wait you on the show for the interview with Mr. Guy Bourassa, CEO of Nemaska Lithium.